Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Snow Show. I've got a special guest, as I always do, Dr. Mike Nagel. We had to do a little makeshift here, Doc. We had to bring you into the studio. You're kind of right next to me, and you're like, "Can I just do it live?" And I'm like, "No, we have to see that beautiful face of yours." So I'm excited to have you on. Thanks for helping us today.
Oh, my pleasure, Greg.
So, Doc, I don't really want, you're the eye doctor in town. I don't really want to talk about that stuff today. I don't want to talk about cataracts or lenses or any of those. I know you got stories. I want to talk amateur baseball, which is kind of right up your alley.
I'd much rather talk about that. So, the amateur baseball will be great.
So you don't want to talk about the eye bit at all?
You're the boss. I'm just answering the questions, my friend. So, however you want to roll with this, I can talk for hours or days. So, just remember, we only have 20 minutes.
Tell
Make it
everybody
good.
tell everybody what happens when Kylie comes and sees you at the eye clinic. That's my daughter.
Kylie and I have kind of this love-hate relationship. It's pretty cool. Well, first of all, her eyes always get bad. Thank you, Leanne Snow, for having a lot of kids. So they keep eye doctor and golf balls, and so I can pay my membership. But we just have a great time. She's so much fun. She's more fun when she plays with my granddaughter in the pool, though. That's when we really get cooking.
Yeah, Kylie has spent a lot of time at the Nagels. That was a few summers ago when your family kind of moved out here. When Mirtha and your daughter, they live in Vegas. They came out, and now Sophie, what is she, Doc? Your granddaughter, is she like in 7th grade now?
11, I think 5th grade.
That's it. She's so tall.
Well, we just grow athletes in the Nagel family, except for me.
Well, that's a good segue because that's what I want to talk about. So, Doc, your love, I know you've fallen in love with golf here a little bit. We had a great night at the golf club last night. But really, your first love is baseball. And so part of what I do on the Snow Show here is I like to take people back to kind of where it all started and where it all began. And I want to do that with you, Doc. So where did your love for baseball start? How far back does that go?
Well, as any kid growing up in a small town, you played baseball in the sandlots with your friends. And I played Little League ball and played high school in Litchfield. I actually was never any good at it. I was really kind of crappy when I was good. I had knee surgeries in high school, so I really never played high school baseball. And I loved it, but I was always injured from basketball. So I played for the Litchfield Blues a couple of years and had a lot of friends, and so we had a good time. Then I went to medical school, and so I hadn't played in 5 years, and all of a sudden I move here. Bird Island starts a team, and I'm thinking, geez, Barry Wooler, the state tournaments, football, great athletes. So we started a town team, and they asked me to play. And if I would have been in any other community, I would have been too bad of a player to make the team, and that would have been at the end of it. And I probably would have been a bowler or whatever. But so I started playing with them. Our team lost 56 games in a row. And we got sick of losing, and we got sick of having the worst field. And so our group just said, we're not going to be the laughing stocks anymore. And I fell in love with it. The guys are great. I played with Kurt Weiss, Jay Helene, Greg Helene, Todd Sheehan, Marty Athman, Jim Flan. We just had so much fun doing it, and it was a great way for me to meet people. And then we decided to start working on our facility because it was bad, and now we have a really, really amazing facility, thanks to hundreds of people in our bold community who have let me play with it and given me time and money and their talents to really make the facility top notch. And we ended up getting to host the 2010 state tournament. Thanks a lot to Merlin Athman, Jim Flan, those Marty Athman, those guys just carried the ball. I get all the accolades, and they kind of do all the work.
So, Doc, I'm not going to let you get off that easy about how bad of a player you are because I do want to hit on that in a little bit here. But let's transfer forward. You're kind of on the state board right now, and tell us how you got to that position and what that involves. And yeah, there you go. Thank you for wearing the shirt. So
Yeah.
tell us. I know some of that was through COVID here, but you were on the board before that. So tell us a little bit about what that governance does and what they do for amateur baseball and how you're a part of that.
Well, amateur baseball is made up of about 273 teams in the state. Class A is inside the 694, 494 loop. And then Class B is the bigger communities around the cities. And then maybe Moorhead, Rochester, Duluth, some of the other St. Cloud areas have bigger teams. Then the rest of us are in Class C, the smallest towns. And when we hosted the tournament, I got to know the state board pretty well. And one of the members, Tom Rademacher, was going to retire. And he asked me if I had any interest. And once our kids got out of school, I said, sure, I'd love to do it. And so I got elected, and it's kind of a lifetime commitment unless you you're on the board until you're gone, basically. And it's a great group of people. We oversee all the state tournament. It's pretty organized. I mean, amateur baseball in other states is really kind of a joke. Minnesota has the best amateur baseball in the country, and so we have 9 guys. We meet monthly, and we have rules, contracts, releases. A lot of different things to help organize, manage, and govern the state of amateur baseball in Minnesota. And every year it culminates in the state amateur tournament. This year it's going to be in Chaska, Waconia, and Hamburg. Last year it was in Milroy and Springfield, and in Shakopee as well. So that's mainly what we do is set up and run the state tournament.
So, Doc, you just came from a meeting down there. Give us a little tidbit of what are some of the things what is the decision that you guys made? Like where you're going to host this year, or who's going to host in 2022? What kind of decisions are made at these meetings?
So our April meeting, we had a bid for the 100th. This 2023 will be the 100th year of amateur baseball in the state of Minnesota. So we had a bid. There were 4 bids: St. Cloud, Cold Spring, and Watkins, New Ulm, Gaylord, Jordan, Belle Plaine, and Green Isle. And then the winning bid was Delano, Dassel, and Litchfield. So they're going to host the state tournament in 2023. So we're going to throw a lot of money marketing at it, try to make it a huge, huge event. So every 2 years, so this November we'll bid for 24 and 25, and then in 2 more years we'll bid for 26 and 27. So we do it every couple of years.
Was last year the most challenging year ever for you as a baseball organization, trying to get the games in and trying to play?
Without a doubt. Our board ended up breaking up because 2 of the board members, our president and secretary, decided we shouldn't really play baseball. Well, every baseball team player in the state that came to me said, we want to play. So I took it upon myself to meet with the Department of Health and finally talked to the city of Bird Island. They said, why aren't you playing? And I said, well, the governor said we are not allowed to. And the city said, we're insured, and our insured, the League of Minnesota Cities said, you can play. These are the rules you got to follow. So I contacted every team and talked to whoever owned their field and said, you can do this, this, and this, send me a letter, and then you're good to go. So our season started late. COVID really didn't affect amateur baseball. We had 55 players test positive over the course of the summer from the start of the season through the state tournament. They all got it at work, parties, or at a bar, but nobody. So if somebody tested positive, we made their whole team, the other team, the umpires all get tested before they could play again. And nobody got it while they were on the field. So it's perfectly, we found out there was no hot spots being at a certain park, their concession stand. So I was really proud of our teams. They took it seriously. They did a good job of social distancing. The concession people sanitized counters, wore masks. So so it was a difficult year to get started. I even got a nice call from the Attorney General's office saying that I had committed a felony and they were going to seize my computer and my phone. And I was going to go to the big house for a while. And I said, well, first of all, we've talked to our attorney and we're fine. Here's what we're doing. And once they realized what we are going through, we weren't just some rogue organization. They said, go ahead. So we were really the only group in the state that did what we wanted, and nobody cared or nobody stopped us. And our state tournament was supposed to be in New Ulm, and the city of New Ulm, they had some physicians that were adamant that we shouldn't bring the pestilence of COVID to New Ulm. And so this retired doctor and I sparred back and forth, and I basically said, your scare tactics are ridiculous. This isn't going to bring any disease or to New Ulm. So needless to say, she and I didn't exchange Christmas cards last year. But so New Ulm didn't host it. We moved it to Milroy. Milroy had 3 weeks to get ready. And I can't tell you what a great job they did. They worked day and night to get the field ready for the tournament. And I knew they would do a good job. Nobody wants to host a state tournament, and everyone says it was the worst place they've ever played. So they really, really stepped up to the plate so we could have a great tournament. So our president then, after the president and the secretary resigned, I stepped up and said I'd be the secretary, and the vice president moved up to be the president. His name is Fred Roofs. Fred was the best state board member maybe ever. He would go to games every week. He was transparent. He was just, if Jerry West is the poster child for the NBA, Fred Roofs is the poster child of amateur baseball. Well, unexpectedly, Fred died in January. So after 1 year of transforming and doing a great job of leading us through COVID, he, at 73, a very healthy 73, we lost him. So Mark Forsman was the vice president. He moved up and took over as president, and he's from Dassel, and Joe Krieger from Green Isle became the vice president. So our board has changed a lot. We've got some new young guys who are really good at the internet, the computer stuff. So we're becoming a lot more electronic. We were paper, this and that. And so it was a good time to kind of just move into the new millennium. So we're going to miss Fred dearly. You can't replace him. He was so much fun. We're going to have a huge celebration of life for him on June 5th in Mankato at Franklin Rogers Park, and we're going to serve hot dogs and peanuts. And it's hopefully going to be a really neat tribute to a wonderful man and leader.
Doc, I can hear the emotion in your voice a little bit about that. That's pretty cool. As you guys are that tight-knit of a group, when you think about how big the state of Minnesota is, that's pretty neat. I mean, what are the ranges of area where these board members come from when you guys get together?
The farthest north is Hinckley. Dennis Brennan's up there. We've got one in Sartell. El Rosa is the newest board member. He took over. Ken Vogt from El Rosa took over for Fred. And then Mark Forsman is in Dassel. And then myself here. And Tom Lemke's from Broughton. Joe Krieger is from Green Isle. And I believe, Jason Kirshner's from Glencoe. So and then Gary Schlepper is from Shakopee. So they're from pretty much, we try to keep them as separated as we can so you don't have 4 guys from one league or whatever, because then of course we're fixing everything and
Right.
ruining baseball for everyone. But it's a fun job, but you have to be committed. It's way more work than I ever thought. And then now being the secretary, and I'm not exactly a wizard on the computer, so I still type with 2 fingers. So the minutes take about 6 hours instead of 20 minutes, but we get her done.
Well, Doc, because you were so bad at swinging the bat, maybe this is a good role for you.
Yeah, swinging the bat. I was a very average baseball player, and I'm probably a very average board member as well. But I love it. When I ran, I said I'd work my ass off and do the best I can. And if you like what I do, I'll keep doing it. If you don't, no problem. I'll just spend more time having Greg teach me how to hit golf shots. So,
all right, I'm going to share a quick Doc Nagel story for everybody. I'm playing golf at Edina Country Club, and I get paired up with Tim Laudner. And Tim Laudner says, "Hey, where are you from?" And I go, "Olivia. I'm the golf pro at Olivia Golf Club." And he looks he kind of did the turn, looked at me, he goes, "Mike Nagel." And I go, "Yeah, Doc, he's just got into golf. He loves it." This couple years ago, he goes, "I drive by 50 people who could take care of my eyes, but I only go to Doc Nagel." And that's Tim Laudner from the Twins. That's your buddy, Doc.
He's, Tim Laudner, he does all the post game for the Twins now. This is probably the most benevolent, selfless human being, a pro athlete I've ever met. He's the ambassador for the blind baseball Olympics in Rochester every year. He's come out to Bird Island, and he was the keynote speaker for our state legion tournament. We used to do the Orth baseball tournament, and he would come out and talk to all these kids, and he won't take a dime. We give him a few pairs of sunglasses to kind of make it fair.
There you go.
But this guy is the greatest. I mean, I just love him to death. And he's such a wonderful person. And I hope someday he's doing the TV play-by-play, because I just love the guy to death. He's such a good person.
Well, Doc, thanks for coming on today. I've never been a big baseball guy, but I love your stories at the golf club. I love the Attorney General story. If somebody wants to call Doc and get that full version, it is dynamite. So thank you for taking time tonight. I know you came straight from a baseball meeting today, but thank you for taking time and coming and joining me. All right, that was Doc Nagel on tonight's Snow Show, and we hope to see you all soon.